new day.
I think Jeremy was saying that when he played in the World Championship final back in '99, he was actually sharing a room with his opponent in the final. Maybe that'll happen to you and David someday in the World Championship. And he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, he lost a little bit the cue ball, but he has a clean shot to the 2 ball. He hit the 9 ball, but if you see the 2 ball is close, I think he has a little bit angle to the 3, so looks at a good start.
Force the cue ball back out for the 3, so nice chance here. We know the two of you have been palling around together on the circuit for years. If you're looking for one of you, just look for the other and you'll generally find you together. But now Camino and Delgado seem to be part of your group as well, and that must be fantastic for them as much as you to be rubbing shoulders with the experienced guys like you and David.
Yeah, I mean, it's good because we travel together, all 4. I think that's important because we can train together, we can compete together. I think Jonas and Alberto, they saw in the World Cup pool, they play really good under pressure.
Jeremy's made it back up alongside us now. Means of the 3 of us sitting here, I'm the only one who's never won the US Open. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. I mean, this shot is tough because you don't feel, I mean, that's the fresh rack, you don't feel so good, so let's see. He has to drop a little bit. That's perfect.
I spoke to him earlier, and we've been talking a lot about how he's not been doing so well in these big events, Fran, but he feels he's actually been playing better than his results would indicate, and he's just been unfortunate to keep getting drawn against top players or guys in the form of their life. Is that how you've seen it for him over the last while?
Yeah, he's for me, I was training with him every day. He's playing really good, but sometimes you play good and you lose. It depends on the break, if it's working or not. But I mean, like I said before, David under pressure is one of the best players.
I think best known for the World Masters, a tournament he's won on 2 occasions. But perhaps now as well for that World Cup success that the 2 of you had together last year. Ideal start for David Alcaide, and before this semi-final began, we had a word with him.
The table, you don't feel good, but it was a good match. But finally, they play amazing and they won. I think they deserve the title.
Yeah, dry break here. I think Shane has a clear look at the 1 ball. Does have maybe a real first shot, which I'm sure he'll take on. And it seemed like, you know, this table's been breaking a little hot and cold, huh, FSR, since it got moved in here for the final 16.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday I won struggle. Also, David will make like a couple dry break. He go for it. Oh, that's a good shot.
Yeah, Yeah, I think as much as that missed 8-ball at 6-2 for filler today, I think the break shot cost him at times as well. He broke dry in a couple big moments, regained the lead or tied it up, I believe, at 9 apiece, and then broke dry. So.
Extension call.
Yeah,
Boening, sorry, Jeremy, I was just going to say, looking to get to the final for the second year in a row, was beaten by Albin Ocean, that gripping title decider last year.
I was about to say, it's hard for me to pass on that shot. I love shooting that shot, and you could tell Shane wants to be aggressive.
I think it's a little bit short. I don't know if you see the 4-ball.
Yeah, I think he can see it, but it's going to be a tricky position shot on the... Ooh, maybe not.
I think maybe he has to play like a safety shot.
Yeah, I think he can make it with inside spin maybe, but... That was always going to be the problem. Just got to go for the make here, huh?
Yeah,
FSR?
I think he has to go to try to the corner pocket. But I mean the most important. The 9-ball.
Just ran out of gas at the very end. And suddenly a chance for Alcaide to lead 2-0.
Yeah, I think it's a good chance for David. Yesterday he was playing really smart. Yeah, he's looking for the combination. 7-9.
And he can't possibly miss it. So the only European player left in the European Open, David Alcaide, leads 2-0. Shane Van Boening, if he wins this match, will claim the first. Doing well here. Skylar Woodward, not a great week here, but it's had a pretty consistent year, so maybe it's going to be a bit more even this time. The Americans, of course, made a good fight last year, but in the end it was 3 in a row for Europe.
Oh, an ideal break off here. Cupcake 2-ball, 3-ball near. And David, I'll tell you, he's one of the best once he gets the cue ball in control, right? Once he gets that first shot down and gets the cue ball in line, that's really what's made his career, is just keeping a real good cue ball, real smart player. You could say maybe there's some out there that come with the tougher shot a little better than David at times, you know? I mean, not, you know, the fillers yourself and whatnot, but once he gets in control of the cue ball, really not a whole lot better.
Yeah, David is very smart player. Also, he was training a lot the break. I mean, he improved a lot. You can see the cue ball was a really good control. And now he looked very good in this semi-final.
From your point of view now, do all thoughts turn to the US Open and defending your title there next month, or is there much to come in the meantime?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a good tournament. US Open, I think that's my favorite tournament so far. The atmosphere is really good, and I'm looking for defend the title. Yes. Maybe it's too much.
Yeah, this has gotten awkward from nowhere.
Extension
Over the 8, queuing funny. Needs some draw on the cue ball. It's a big shot here, early. Biggest shot of the match so far.
Yeah, especially in this pocket. Like you see, he has not too much angle. He has to make a draw, but he know it's gonna be a tough.
He's going forward. He's going to play safe on the 6. Oh, that was a hard way to shoot it, wasn't it, Fran? I'm going forward with the cue ball.
Yeah, he chose to play follow, but to be honest, I think I played draw. But later you had to play like a long shot. But it was a tough shot.
Yeah, top spin or bottom spin. It was always going to be a difficult shot, but of course he's out there, right? He's the one who sees it and feels it, so you got to go with what decision he's making. And we just commented how smart a player he is, so hard to fault David Alcaide. Interesting shot here. Got to spin this.
He has to pass the cue ball between the 9 and 7. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, and the reason why that's difficult for Shane is it's not one of his favorite shots to spin the ball. He would rather kind of stun the ball, hit the ball a little harder at times.
So there wasn't anything Shane Van Boening could have done about it in the opener. David Alcaide running out from the break. Followed that by losing a rack that he had looked like winning. Now he needs this 9 to win a rack that it looked like he was going to lose. And what that all means is that he's registered on the scoreboard. David Alcaide still in front, and now trimmed to 2-1. It's Hearts last year. Wonderful to be back in 23. Shane Van Boening, runner-up last year, looking to get to the final again.
And that's a bit of a theme for all the players here on this main table. It's not always, of course, but in quite a few dry breaks. And David Alcaide leave that 6 ball behind now with a straight in 1. All the first half of the rack, the work's on the bottom end. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You'll see the 5, 6, 7, 8 on the top end of the table. That's always nice. Don't have to work the cue ball up and down the table.
So experienced, David Alcaide. As I was saying, he's 44 years of age. There's been so much talk about the Mosconi Cup the last couple of days. He actually was playing in it even before Van Boening was. Made his debut in 2006 in the tied match in Rotterdam. Didn't play again for 11 years. Even after that, he had to wait 4 years for another appearance. He's played in 4 of them now and never been on the losing side.
Yeah, that was a big decision last year for Alex Lely. Taking David as a captain's pick, and for most it made sense, you know, with FSR being a rookie in his first Mosconi.
And speaking of FSR, you might have noticed him there, just sitting to the right of the table. Made that journey quickly from the commentary position. Alcaide was 7-1 up in that semi-final last night against Sanchez Ruiz. Remarkably fell behind at 9-8. We were talking earlier down on the floor, Jeremy, about how he's just hung in there at times this week, and he certainly did that last night. Managed to force the decider and then won it, clinching with a 2-9 combination.
Yeah, it seems like all these matches in the later stages of the tournament have not only been just very good quality and very exciting, but it seems like every match has kind of two halves. One player gets most of the shots and whatnot.
Van Boning's first break of the match came up dry. Alcaide took full advantage. He's too clear again, now 3-1, because his reputation has been there for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it doesn't hurt what's all the pull and more pull that's going on there in the Philippines, and a long line of great players and players he's learned from. But yeah, Anton Raga's been a name in the pool world for probably about 7 or 8 years. I've been hearing about him. Now we just get to see it a little bit more and on the biggest stage. Pretty sweet.
I was chatting to David earlier today, and he was saying he's become a bit more serious about things of late. Trying to get much more focus in his life, on his game. And one thing he's been particularly keen to do is to make sure he gets plenty of sleep. And once you get past 40, Jeremy, that becomes more important than ever.
Push out goal.
You might have thought he wouldn't have got a lot last night. A late finish to the match, and then he went out for a bite to eat with the man he'd just beaten. He assures me he's well rested for today.
Yeah, I watch different types of videos for golf and different things, and just athletes come up, and one thing they all talk
James,
about,
your choice.
you can build strength, you can do a number of things, but the one you can't replace is your rest. And you can see he pushed out to a shot here. Hard not to take it, really, and then play safe off the 3. 3-9, really not a combination that's makeable, but now he could come off his right side of the 2 with a lot of right English, trying to cut the 2 past the 3, go the rail, and bump the 9-3. Looks like he's going to go ahead and try and pocket the 2 ball and play a safety off the 3. This needs to slow down. This is going to hurt. Now, does he swing this tight, 2 rails inside, in between the 8 and the 5? Does he chip this and go long past the 5, maybe trying to get behind the 6? And he's going to go between them, trying to use the purple. And really good stuff.
David Alcaide's really fallen off the pace in terms of these matchroom events over the last year or so. Went out in the last 64 of the World Championship. Last 32 of both the UK and Spanish Opens. As we've said, lost his first match at the World Cup with FSR. He was also beaten in the first round of the World Masters, a tournament he's won twice, going down 9-6 to Shane Van Boening.
Yeah, and I didn't mind, pushing out to some type of shot on the 2. The one thing I may not have done if I was David is giving up the bottom of the cue ball. Made the shot on the 2 a lot easier. All right, trying to hit his left side of the 3. Maybe he's trying to hold the cue ball. He's going to catch a double kiss. It's not going to leave anything easy for SVB, though.
I mentioned Alcaide's win in Scotland in July. Van Boening also came here on the back of having won a smaller ranking event in Iowa a week before that. How close to his best was he, Jeremy? I know you were there for that tournament.
Oh, he played great, which He's very comfortable in that room. He's had a lot of success and usually a pretty darn good quality field as well. Hard to tell what he was playing there. You kind of figure he was playing the make, but maybe knew the backdoor safety was there. Shane playing a lot of pool after this. Not going to have a ton of time off. Okay, the 3 does pass to the upper right. It's not really looked at that, so maybe entertaining the safety behind the pink 4 and the brown 7. Put a little inside, go the rail, and squeeze up on those 2 balls with the cue ball. Yeah, a little touchy. Doesn't want to shoot straight at it. Worried about fouling the cue ball, I think. So now maybe going to go the rail with the cue ball and trying to use the 7 after that. This is a little touchier and could certainly get away from you. Now he's coming back to the in rail, which is smart because he's going to let him see the pink.
You talked there about the quality of the field that he beat Van Boening to win the tournament in Iowa. Certainly borne out by his last 2 opponents. Semi was against Skylar Woodward, who's been so consistent this year. And in the final, he beat Fedor Gorst, who had actually beaten Van Boening himself earlier in the year to win another high-quality event in the States, just a bit below this level, the Derby City Classic.
Yeah, it's going to hurt there, catching the knuckle on the side. He would have got the snooker with the behind the 9. The pink had gotten past the side, but yeah, I don't think, knowing Shane, he's not so unhappy, like calling it a bad roll. He's just not so happy with his performance so far. And it's not glaring mistakes, but these players kind of feel those little things that we don't necessarily see.
A lot of the crowd who were in for the first match went out for a little break, get a bit of lunch, as this one was starting, but they're filling the place up again now, gradually.
Yeah, the fans here have been incredible, and David, you could immediately hear a little disgust in that shot. And should be okay when you're this close to the ball, that ball close to the object ball close to the pocket. You can certainly cheat it a little bit to get the cue ball out for the 7. You could see you use the rail. A little shocked he ended up short there, but still very natural to come across. Just got to keep the focus on pocketing the 7.
So he's run into one or two minor issues along the way here, but routine now for the 8 and 9. The 11 is still a long way off. He's putting some early pressure on his opponent here, who hasn't started particularly well. David Alcaide stretches his lead to 4-1.
David Alcaide, yes, you are. Thanks, Mark.
You know, when you talk about the dynamic of him and Skyler, of course, competing for this first automatic pick, and this match here will decide it. You know, it's just, I think the thing Skyler's been doing lately, now this week wasn't his best, but that just puts Shane in a better place to perform well. And not only on events at the Mosconi Cup, like the Mosconi, and of course them as a teammates, but even in these singles events, I think just makes him calmer, right? Seeing his buddies play better. All right, David really, couple times he could have used top inside on a shot, and he really chose to stun the ball. One time kind of promoted that miss on the 6, I think in rack number 3 it was, but now he has no choice but to put the top inside, so we'll see how it works out. Yeah, that's kind of what I was feeling, you know what I mean? Like he avoided those other ones because he didn't like, maybe the nerves are flowing. Top inside's kind of one of those shots when your nerves are going that you're not in love with. And that's the reason why I brought it up, is curious if maybe he was going to have an issue there.
Since you were confirmed in the captaincy again, JJ, have you spoken with Shane, all things Mosconi, making any plans?
Not yet. You know, he's still in the mix here, and no reason to get too far ahead of ourselves. The best things for the Mosconi is these players getting these wins underneath their belt and getting more confidence as December moves closer. Trying to use the 8. This is going to hurt. Didn't get the mark by any means. Needs a little help with the purple. I'm not sure he got it. But there's so many events, a lot of stuff will be coordinated for Team USA, that's for sure.
Extension, cool.
It was a heavy defeat first time you were captain in Coventry in 2020, but the fact you've been more competitive in the last 2 now, that's got to be something that you and your camp can draw on.
No, absolutely. You know, 2020 was a funny one with no fans, and you know, we want the nerves as high as possible. I think any variable, I think, is a good thing for Team USA, and you know, 2021 was good. We were really, after 2 days, in a great position. Day 2 actually could have been a lot better, even though it was good. And then, you know, Europe kind of took over from there. But last year we were certainly in it, and just a couple little things. So. And it's good to have a group of guys, whatever 5 it'll be, that you know, it's not the belief of winning, that's the goal, that's the job, is to win the cup. It's not just like, oh, we can do it. So that's what we're there to do. Another big shot here. Watch out for that lower right corner, the cue ball. And David's starting to get a little quick with the takeaway, and that happened to him a couple times last night. Been a little fortunate with a few misses as well. So.
That's the sort of thing that you might expect to see once you get to about 8 or 9, but still relatively early in the match. A concerning sign.
Yeah, and the thing that's so concerning, if you're a viewer, or pros, they don't aim that poorly. You know, it's the actual stroke itself that causes all the problems. And may fluke this. Definitely trying to play a two-way shot. It's going to get right in the gap for Alcaide. Now David's got a good look to come 2 cushions. Top cushion, left side cushion, I think, with low left, and come at the 7, trying to get position on the red 3. May be able to go straight up and down the table and get by the 8. It looks like maybe not, though, to me. So we'll see how he cues the ball. Yeah, low left English. Should wrap that up upper left-hand corner. That's got to slow down unless it contacts the purple. Fell a little straight here, so he's gonna not only have to think about the purple a little more just to get on the to the green 6, not so much getting the shot at the purple, but making it easy and convenient to draw position on the green 6. So he stayed kind of straight here. Is he gonna go forward with the cue ball?
We were talking earlier in the rack about him starting to look a little edgy already. But if, having played a couple of dodgy shots in this rack, he ends up winning it anyway, then eases out into a pretty substantial lead at 5-1. That can all help to settle.
Yeah, you would think that's kind of how it is, but you know, we all miss, but if missing is caused by something kind of fundamentally wrong on the stroke, what happens, whether you get away with it or not, you're in big time fear of that, you know, kind of peeking its head back out, that stroke. So
yeah, that's certainly true. But perhaps a bit easier to put it out of your head if you don't pay the penalty for it.
no, absolutely, it doesn't weigh on you quite as much, that's for sure.
Of course, what's also bound to help him is the fact that Van Boening is struggling a little bit as well.
Okay, that one hit a little wide to the pocket, but never really a worry.
Well, he's made a few mistakes, but he's still established a very strong position in the match. David Alcaide almost halfway to victory already. He leads 5-1.
Leading 5 racks to 1.
$11 required to set up a final tonight against Anton Raga.
Yeah, nice consistent hit on the break there. Got that little bit of a kiss. As FSR said when he was in the booth, David very much putting a lot of time in on the break shot, as it should be addressed. Such an important part.
There is Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. One more rack against David Alcaide last night, and he would have been out there playing in this semi-final right now. we've said he'll be defending his US Open title in Atlantic City next month.
I guess he's coming off the left side of the blue too here. Trying to leave some distance. You figured to not, oh yeah, I was going to say the thick hit is what he wants to stay away from. And again, just like when he missed the 2 earlier, it was hit very thickly, and you're not aiming that thick. It's just the delivery causing problems. Looks like Shane's going to play the simple safety behind the green 6. And this is where David has gotten a few rolls as far as after some misses, not really leaving anything offensive. Just like Shane played safe on the 2 ball earlier and David kicked it right on in. Maybe it was a 3 ball, but going to attempt to do the same here, I believe. Now he was sizing up the 2-rail kick, which I kind of like, but he can't reach it that well. Two-rail kick would have been to the right side rail. Top rail come between the pink and the blue 2, coming across the blue 2, but hard to argue this one, going for the make.
Alcaide didn't get away with it this time. Van Boening has got to start making something happen here.
Yeah, he's got to pay attention to this first shot, a little off angle. Held the cue ball nicely. Should be able to maybe go between the 5-8. Maybe he can draw above it. Doesn't really want to contact anything here, especially the 8. You don't want to block up the pocket with a 5. Okay, he went into it heavily, but now lost the cue ball and going to be over the 8 a bit. So I don't want to call it sloppy, but just everything a little awkward at the moment.
Had a few tough matches to get here. Had that 10-9 win over Mario He last night, but earlier in the day he'd been pushed to 10-8 by the Dutch player Tim de Ruyter. James Aranis, of course, earlier in the tournament in winners qualification was well behind and made a bit of a fight of it before going down 9-6. Also Van Boening, who ended the campaign of Torsten Homan, whose hometown we're in. It's basically the reason this tournament was brought to Fulda.
Yeah, lots of traffic here coming back and forth, and still got to get from that green 6 to the 7. So he's going to love this as long as he's not over the 8. Oh, that's like perfect right there.
Sure.
Ben Taylor Fuente is our referee.
Looked a little light with the speed. Did run out just a bit. Good thing for Shane is he can handle a lot on the 9, so gets to shoot this a little more comfortably.
And once he was left the 2, felt like an opportunity he really needed to make the most of. despite one or two little bumps in the road along the way. That is what Shane Van Boening has done. So, trims David Alcaide's lead to 5-2. He's been stuck on that number.
Shane Van Boening to break. Trailing 5 racks to 2. Foul stroke, ball in hand.
All right, makes a ball on the break and now gets kissed in, so got to watch out for the frustration. And David, again, after making a mistake in the last, can leave it behind, ball in hand. Can sure clear the mind, Michael.
And that's what this match is doing, isn't it? The way it's playing out, it keeps giving Alcaide opportunities to put his mistakes and misfortunes behind him.
Yeah, and even after a mistake, ball in hand just kind of sets you up to, you know, where his strengths are, which is once he gets in line, he usually stays in line. And really his tactical game, and again, a great cue ball has really made his career. Not a ton of work here. Got to get from the 6 to the 7, backup table to the 8, but they're not pinned in like really bad positions. Probably just holds the ball here, just stop shot.
David Alcaide's win over FSR 10-9 last night. Certainly the closest contest he's had this week. Simon Kural of Poland pushed him hard in winner's qualification. Before the FSR match, he'd had a couple of very good results in a row. Oliver Szolnoki was seen off 10-4. Really good Hungarian player who's been resurgent in recent times. And in the round before that, he'd beaten Naoki Oi 10-1.
All right, here's that top inside. A little bit flat. I don't think he really has to punch it much with the top inside. Just kind of float above the middle of the table. Yeah, that actually changes the route of the cue ball and kind of got into it, made it hook a little bit. Should be okay with the one rail speed coming down the table for the 9.
I know you and Carl love to talk about the pool gods, JJ. And they've been smiling on David Alcaide in a number of different ways so far this afternoon here in Germany. In this instance, it happened in the form of Van Boening scratching off the break, presenting Alcaide with ball in hand and a great opportunity. And he's 4 clear again. David Alcaide leads Shane Van Boening now by 6 rounds. Alcaide, 6-2 in front.
Foul stroke, ball in hand.
Roles reversed this time.
Yeah, it's almost like our referee Ben was announcing that foul stroke because he could see it coming in the side, maybe. I don't know. He was on it. And the balls look like they have opened up pretty well.
Certainly have, if that grimace is anything to go by. Van Boning's run, even to this far, has broken the trend for him in matchroom events in 2023. World Championship defence ended as early as the last 16 against Duong Quoc Quang. He really struggled for form then at the Premier League the following month in Leicester. Didn't even make it to the six-man final day. Did win one match at the World Masters against Alcaide, but then lost to Ko Pin-Yi. Went out last 16 of the UK Open, last 32 of the Spanish. Disappointing World Cup with Skylar Woodward for the USA. He did beat Korea, but that was always going to happen, really. And then they lost to Japan in the second round.
This ball rolled out quite a ways, and even though close to it, looks like a very funny angle. Gonna come back short side here.
Extension cool.
He can go with a high ball, but that makes it very missable coming 2 rails by the 9. That's what he's gonna do.
So from 5-2, it's been a tale. 2 scratched breaks exploited to the full. One on either side. And that's why we're back to 3 in it. Katie now leading 6-3 in this semi-final. A lot to happen here. Shane Van Boening was runner-up last time. Still in contention for the title. 12 months on. Well, he'd had 2 breaks before in this match. One was dry, one was scratched. That one was nearly golden.
Yeah, and he's got to look at the blue too. It's not offensive, but gotta like his chances to get the snooker here. Of course, hard to get ball in hand, and with the 3 the way it is and a few other things, this is going to be a touchy rack. Oh, he's trying to come back on the purple real nice. David may jump at this. I don't know. These guys are so good at jumping and landing on the ball if needed, but there's a 9 ball up in the corner. Maybe plays a 2 up in the left corner trying to draw the ball with the jump cue. Almost has to land on this.
Extension cool.
Again, that could so easily have resulted in a simple shot on the 2, but Alcaide enjoying a little bit of fortune once more.
Extension call.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, who was in with us at the start of the match, already confirmed as the first automatic qualifier for the European team for the Mosconi Cup. So now the race is on to be the next player to get a spot on the team. That'll be confirmed after the US Open. And if Alcaide can win this European Open today, he will be leading that race.
Trying to bend the cue ball a little bit here. Bend it too much. So now after a couple nice safety shots, SVB in a good spot here. Not an easy out. I mean, he's got to shoot a nice shot here from the 2 to the 3 and get a little angle to get back over for the pink off of the red 3. So you can see the 5 in a little bit of an awkward spot considering the 6 is up table, the green 6. Brown 7, you got to come back down. Watch out. Wow.
Foul stroke, ball in hand. Please start the clock.
You know, we'll see what kind of opportunity he is given past this scratch and beyond what is game number 10. But, you know, that's what he did yesterday, right? He made some real big errors, and Mario, he and him both struggled at times. But then they both came with it at the end. They really played nice, but sometimes Shane with some big errors can let things linger. So we'll see how he handles that once he's given another opportunity at the table.
For me, this is becoming a little reminiscent of his semi-final against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz at the UK Open last year in London. You may remember it, Jeremy. And he had gone in there having just won the World Championship and looked as though he might back it up by adding the UK Open title. And things just didn't start off for him well against Sanchez Ruiz. There was a bit of a dispute with Marcel Eckhart over a refereeing call that was made, and he just looked increasingly fed up as it went on. He was heavily beaten in the end.
Yeah, I do remember. I remember more than anything, like you said, seemed like he was a little fed up about things, and can't remember every shot for shot. But here I just see maybe just a little like, you know, out of sorts of some sort, you know. Doesn't seem really fed up or frustrated, just kind of bewildered of what's going on so far.
Yeah, I guess the similarity is, just feels like things have gone well off script for him, just as they did that day. And it was just starting to feel like momentum was shifting back in his direction. Remember, Alcaide was 5-1 up. If Van Boening had taken this rack, that would have been 3 out of the last 4 and very much game on. Now, in this rack, it looks like game over. So that was a good chance for Van Boening to apply a little more pressure here. Scratch on the side. That's cost him. David Alcaide. Only 4 away from victory now. It's 7-3. Yeah, that's a look at some of the events coming up. As I mentioned, the US Open over a gripping narrative to go alongside this 2023 season. David Alcaide looking to be in the team for the 3rd time in a row and looking for a place in the European Open final.
Yeah, and I kind of felt like after that mistake with ball in hand that David would make a ball and get a shot, and here it is. Nothing easy, long distance on the 2, and he's got to screw the cue ball back for the 3, but gotta like his chances with this starter. And I think he got a nice follow angle here, a little thin, but I don't think he really has to do much besides just take the natural angle. That'll take you to the side rail, the bottom rail, and come between the 4-9 off a couple cushions. Just make the ball. Yeah, just like that.
It was here in Fulda, really, that Alcaide's struggles in the big matchroom event started. Last year, he'd been going well in them with that UK Open semi-final run. And, of course, winning the World Cup. He was sent to the loser's side here, managed to get through it to reach single elimination, but went out as early as the last 64. It was the same at the US Open. Earlier on, talked about how it hasn't really happened for him in these events at all so far in 2023.
Well, I think it's just going to get tougher for all the top players. I mean, next level's getting better. Of course, everyone's seeing what the World 9-Ball Tour is doing. Players like Anton Roga that really hasn't participated yet, and they all have different reasons why, but you're going to see more of those players as well. And, you know, coming off a pandemic, and of course some players having travel issues for one reason or another. Things are just going to get more difficult for all the players. But I think they like it, you know, knowing it's all quality from the beginning of the event. It's really how it should be.
Yeah, we've got some players from China, some very good ones who we haven't seen come back onto the scene yet, and some of the Philippines players have had their schedules a bit restricted. So absolutely, the number of players who'll be coming to these tournaments contending to win and to get good results is only heading in one direction.
Extension call.
Okay, no reason to pinch it here. Just go ahead and let it float across. Stay above the 9.
Looks to be playing with more comfort and confidence than he was earlier on in the match. He's about to move into his strongest position yet. Timely run out from David Alcaide. And now he can start to see the final coming into view. He's only 3 racks away.
The funny thing is about the whole week is, at the beginning of the week, Shane had real trouble sleeping. I mean, real trouble. 1 hour, 2 hours a night, and usually can get accustomed to what he's doing pretty quickly. But you know, and he played pretty perfect early in the week. I mean, really played some nice matches, and now the last few days he's been getting good sleep and just been having some struggles. All right, another shot on the 1. If he can get the 1 down, the 2 is available. Not easy, but one you're going to attack with almost always. You can see the layout. 2 up table, the 4, 5, 6, 8 on the bottom end, the 7 up table. Now the 9 could be an issue, but first things first, it's all about the yellow 1. Yeah, missed that one by some piece, and Shane should attack here with a cross side bank on the 1. Just about medium speed.
A week of big turnarounds in matches. The real theme of it actually has been the number of matches where someone's had a big lead. The other guys come back. But the guy who had the big lead ends up falling over the line in the end. But either way, we've seen so many times how players can go on runs, even at times when it hasn't looked expected in matches. And Boening needs to continue that trend here. It looks like he's going to make a start in this 12th rack.
It's a funny angle. I guess he can check the cue ball easily. Is he going to come some 4 rails around? All right, he's just going to play short side. This is going to bounce a little bit. This is going to be a bit of a tester and a theme for Shane to clean the cue ball towards the end of the rack, it seems.
He's still hanging on in this semi-final. David Alcaide in control though. It's 8-4 to the man from Spain. Track though, just to keep Alcaide within touching distance. 8-4.
Much more of what Shane's used to. The one on the side. Ball's opening nicely. A little bit of a tricky combo, but one he should handle. Doesn't have to totally ease it, but of course doesn't want to put too much speed. Kind of track the cue ball kind of on the line he's on now. No reason to run into another ball. Oh my. This one he never expected to be able to hang, and of course the difficult pockets, we've seen a lot of it.
Boening just hasn't been able to establish any momentum at all in the match, and every time it looks like he might have a chance to do it, something like that just keeps happening.
Yeah, it was a dry break earlier, a kiss on the break that caused a scratch. Of course, he got another game back, played a nice safety, got ball in hand, scratched off a ball in hand, and David broke and ran and got another one back. Looks like maybe a break and run here. And the pink hangs deep in that upper corner, but it did hang. These pockets and balls tell no lies, Michael. Yeah, looks like he fell straight here, so this could be a little troublesome.
Extension, cool.
Could get over the 9 here. This could be problems. And that ball stopping, just that, leaving him that couple inches makes a huge difference. And again, the 8 being very available as well helps. But this type of shot you miss whenever you tend to underhit it. And you're not going to blast it, of course, but don't try to baby it to the pocket. Go ahead and come across. Real cleanly struck. A lot of confidence there.
We're both making mistakes earlier in the match. It looks as though Alcaide has shaken that off better than Van Boening has. And still, Van Boening has not managed to win 2 racks in a row at any stage of this match. Bad miss from the American. He sat down for the rest of the rack. David Alcaide won it and now leads 9-4.
Only 2 for David Alcaide needed to get to this final, but still, that's a long 2. Yeah, this is the fear, though. When you make a big mistake, it's like you just know you're going to get a little punishment, and that punishment is served up with a nice shot on the blue, too. He's got a tricky 3-ball at the table, but David, being kind of the tactician with the cue ball that he is, kind of feel like he's going to get out here to get to the hill.
Of course, talking of the Mosconi Cup, we do know Skylar Woodward will be confirmed as the first member of the American team if Shane Van Boening loses this match.
Now you can see the 5, 6, 7, 8 up top with the lonely red 3-ball, and he can just get that position on the 3 that naturally cut the 3 in. This is going to help get on the pink, and this ball's got to go. I don't know if he'll even attempt it now. May just play the safety, banking the 3 back down table, killing the cue ball up behind the 7, 6.
Extension, cool.
One of the most famous matches of Van Boning's career was when he came from 10-3 down to beat Mika Immonen 11-10 in the World Championship last year. Turned out to be one of the most significant when he went on that weekend to win the title for the first time. Great battling qualities again from 8-5 down to beat Mario He last night. Really, he's got to start something similar here.
Extension, cool.
Not altogether surprising to see him play that shot, perhaps, Jeremy, when you consider the way he was looking in his chair, shaking his head, down on himself, down on the game, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on all those. You know that, again, David gets to the hill probably with any mistake. And first, you know, it's been talked about before that Shane could be definitely more positive in the chair. He and I have talked about it. You know, the Mosconi and stuff like that. But, that's a big bad miss there, and may not hurt him just because the 3 doesn't have a pocket. But maybe the beeps got to him there a little bit, Michael, with the shot clock. David hadn't had a lot of misses in this match. Of course, head 9-4. How could he? But that one was off by quite a piece. Double banking this, running the cue ball maybe. Oh, he's playing down table with the cue ball. Pretty smart shot. David, I don't know if he goes for a real difficult safety here. He could kind of bank the 3 up the right rail, get it past the side with the 7 and all that block in the pocket. He runs the cue ball, trying to go up behind the 6-7, something like that. Could cause problems. Give up a combination, maybe. Oh, he's playing it the soft one. I think I cut the 3 a hair on the left and bank it 2 rails below the 9 and use the purple to hold the cue ball. I think he's going to go into the 6, try and carry the 6 up off the rail and use that as a snooker like that. Now he's tied up to 6-7, but not an issue. Tell you what, if David could cue this pretty well with a 4-8 kind of wired combination, if he wanted to cut the 3.
Please pause the clock.
I think we got a buddy in the building again. Little one with the wings. But if he wanted to take on this cut, maybe he comes into the 6-7. You know, maybe makes the 6, but opens those up with a long distance 4-8 combination that's very doable.
Trying to get a move on. Used as extension. So the 3 finally succumbs after a fairly lengthy exchange, including misses on it from distance for both players.
Yeah, this looks to have fallen pretty straight, and the problem with that is, unless he plans on banking the 6, he's got to really get into this. Hard to get the right angle on the purple up the table to maybe break out the 6-7. Got a lot on that.
Hard part done now. So the 9 is easy. Good resilience, good determination shown there. Shane Van Boening suddenly looks to have a little bit of belief back in his eyes. He trails by 4 at 9.5.
Rack 50. Shane Van Boening to break. Trading 9 racks to 5.
I was going to say that's one thing that does look better is the break shot itself. He's got to look at the blue too. He's got to stretch on it. I don't know, pretty thin to go offensive.
Extension, cool.
One of the best shots you'll ever see with the rest. Really applying a little power and side spin. A little shake of the head there. And I had the same up here in the booth. One of the best shots, like I said, caught the brown 7 just perfect.
Bow strop. Ball in hand. Thought it hit the 7. Can I see a replay of that one, please?
Yeah, the call is that he hit the 7 first. Yeah, and he did. Good spot, Ben Taylor-Fuente.
Yeah, it reminds me of a call that was made years ago in the Moscone where the entire building didn't think it was a foul except for the referee, and the referee was right.
Well, he's standing closer than anybody else, so
yeah, but
judge.
It's amazing when the ball's in the air how lightly you can hit it and really not even move it out of place, just a little wiggle, and sometimes you'll hear it even more than you'll see it. Kind of like in tennis, they have somebody there for the let court, right, on the serve. A lot of times they'll hear it much more than the visual. Got a little flat here. Good thing is he can stun right between the 7-9 with the cue ball. That's the shot I like. You're always in position. When you're close to it, the center ball stun, that's when you really want to use it. Yeah, you see you don't have to hit it very hard to get quite a bit of movement out of the cue ball. And now just a little control of the pace coming 2 cushions should get David Alcaide to the hill.
Would be one of the biggest wins of his career, not just because of who he's beating, but because of the way he's not been delivering really on the big stage at all over the last year. This would really announce his arrival back among the form players.
Yeah, and to be fair, you know, David does have those, was it 2 World Pool Masters, I believe, titles, but when you talk about the big events with the 2 bigger fields, you know, those have eluded him for the most part in his career, and You know, the World 9-ball and the U.S. Open are those two bigger ones, but these are huge titles. Now the European Open, the UK Open, and so on and so forth.
It would be a very different situation in the final tonight, wouldn't it? He's up against Van Boening, just about the most experienced man here. Anton Raga, a complete newcomer to events of this nature. In a couple of moments' time, it looks as though he's going to be one rack away from setting up that encounter.
Yeah, Raga, though, it seems like not only enjoying it, but making leaps and bounds in that experience every match.
He was making literal leaps and bounds after his win earlier over Joshua Filler. And David Alcaide will be pretty delighted if he can take one more here. Shane Van Boening won't.
David Alcaide the break. On the hill, leading 10 racks to 5.
Golden break here, Michael. A little action on the 9.
No action at all.
No, but I'll tell you, he's that break that Fran was talking about, he's been working on, is starting to show up a bit more, and he's going to need it in the final if he goes on to get to that final. But definitely has a look at the blue 2 and a shot he can shoot, and I don't know if he can avoid the purple 5 with the cue ball. Does have a cross side bank that plays as well. Well, I'd want to shoot from here one way or another. Yeah, and I wondered about the bank just because look where the cue ball's at. If you're going to shoot at a shot like that, you want to draw position, and don't really think he had much on the 3, narrowly missing the 2 in the side. Another cross side bank available, but a little thinner hit on the blue 2. I think does offer position. Now, if he was going to play safe, you could easily just bank the 2 out kind of where the cue ball's at now and drop the cue ball onto the brown 7 pretty easily. Kind of a fail-proof safety you can't really hardly mess up. He's putting that ball near a pocket, and that's when it's dangerous with the jump cue especially.
Extension call.
Watch out for him knocking the ball off the table. Yeah. Oh, no love here. Watch this ball kill behind the paint. And I say that knocking the ball off the table just because he had to put a lot of power into that to try and get some kind of look at the red 3.
Similar to the shot just a short time ago with the bridge. Really good pot, but absolutely no fortune in any other aspect of it.
Extension call.
All right, David's going to go to the top rail here with a little side spin, a little bit of left. Not a whole lot. Going to try and get into the red 3, trying to utilize the pink 4 as a big blocker. Maybe flukes the 3 in the lower left corner. You don't always know what's going to happen, but the direction you shoot in is what increases those percentages for a lot of good things, and David continually does that. Looks like he's gotten a full eclipse here on the red 3, so it's going to be something to the back cushion, the bottom cushion.
We had a lengthy exchange on the 3, didn't we, a couple of racks ago? This one could decide the match.
Yeah, he's going to need some help from the 8. He's going to give up some type of starter. It's not easy, but one you figure David to attack on. Looks like he's got to come 2 cushions kind of inside the pink and take a little cut shot to the upper left corner for the pink 4, but all about pocketing this red 3 and continuing from there.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, who started the match in the commentary position beside us, and David Alcaide are so supportive of each other in every way. I'm sure Alcaide has been as happy as anyone to see his friend's success over the last year as he became US Open champion, world champion and world #1. But all of that success has perhaps further highlighted how his own career is going into something of a decline. When you're trying to turn things around, you can't ask much more than beating the top 2 players in the world rankings in consecutive matches. Having defeated FSR last night, he has a golden chance here to follow that with victory over SVB.
Yeah, got a testy ball here, even though it's straight. I think it's really straight. When you don't have the comfort of going to a rail with a cue ball, you just have to go forward to get the speed right. Can be a little disturbing. I mean, notice he wanted to avoid rolling the ball and just going straight forward there, and now fell a little funny. Does he want to add some side spin? Otherwise, maybe he's coming into the 9 with the cue ball. Type of shot you can take your eye off of, and believe it or not, hang this 7 ball.
He's done well to keep this going, hasn't he? It hasn't been straightforward, and it still isn't.
No, but I'll tell you, these last couple of racks, especially the breakers as well, playing from a little out of line. The nice shot on the 3 here in this rack to open, killing the cue ball for the pink. That could go a long ways in that final this evening as far as confidence and getting started right. Yeah, like all these shots, every one of them's been a little different. And he's handled all of them, Michael.
He's got to handle one more here. Skylar Woodward will be watching, you know. He will clinch the first US Mosconi Cup place. Guarantee his 9th appearance in a row if this goes down.
Yeah, the epitome of the 50-yard line, it looks like.
This moment is all about David Alcaide. And the moment, for now, has passed him by. He battled so hard and just couldn't get in prime position. Caught up with him right at the end. Shane Van Boening has absolutely thumped that 9 in. We still have a pool match here. We've still got a semi-final. Still got a place in the final to fill. Needed to win 6 in a row. There's one.
Shane Van Boening to break. Trailing 10 racks to 6.
And just smashing him there. The 2's going to go down as well. He's going to get a great shot on the red 3. And yeah, with the old break rules, the bigger pockets, Michael, Alcaide would have felt like maybe he's given away the match with that missed 9, even with a 10-5 lead. But now it's, you got to earn it. It is doable. Like I said, I think Shane's just got to keep his focus. That's all. Easier said than done sometimes. I'd like to make a decision here. I'd like to shoot the 6 and come 2 rails and get to the bottom cushion. That makes getting from the 7 to the 8 so much easier, especially with an impeding 9 ball on the spot. So maybe he wants to pull this back an inch. Yeah. Take this heavy angle here to come 2 rails between the 9 and the 8 all the way to the bottom cushion. Makes for a lot less stress at the end of this rack.
Yeah, been plenty of stress in this match. So eventful, so many little incidents here and there, and bits of misfortune for Van Boening, unexpected misses. And this is just what he was looking for. Nice straightforward rack, a couple of balls down off the break. Nothing too complex to follow.
Wow, I don't know if he was trying to catch the point with the cue ball there. You normally wouldn't draw into this position.
Extension called.
Well done, that was a tough shot in the circumstances. Alcaide will still know he's in a strong position, but we're getting to the stage where he'll be happy to see this done.
Into rack 18. Shane Van Boening to break. Trading 10 racks to 7.
Okay, he's avoided the scratches. The 2's going to open up. So, and of course, like you said, Alcaide is in a strong position, but you kind of feel like you're in a helpless position as well, just because, or maybe no position until you get a chance to get out of that chair, right? I mean, that's just kind of where it's at and what it takes to win the match. You got to knock the last 9 in. That has not happened yet. Awkward little shot queuing here. Doesn't want to get too thin on the red to be able to get onto the pink up the table. He may have gotten a roll, but you know the jump cue, and David's a big favorite to make this.
Players get into the mindset when they're on the brink of defeat and a long way behind, thinking, got to play no miss pool now. And Boening's just had a miss. And Alcaide has had a bit of fortune.
Yeah, big time. Not only not leaving a shot, the 3's got the natural kick cut off. The purple's got part of the 2-ball cut off and cutting off more kick options, right? So bigger chance to maybe foul. And I think Shane's got a slow roll kick. Can he get by the 3 and in between that and the right middle side pocket and come across at the blue 2? I think it's going to be on the lighter side. That way, 2 things. You can utilize the 5 and keep accuracy on the kick itself. Oh, he went hard.
Stroke, ball in hand.
He went hard at it. Nice hit, but again, no fortune.
Please start the clock.
Well, you talked about David Alcaide being helpless for a while there. He was. But now he has his chance to reach the final.
Yeah, I wonder if the purple 5 goes by the 8 in the left middle. Otherwise, there's not really a pocket for the purple 5. Doesn't want to get thin here on the 3, and it's approaching that. I think that's the only way he can work the cue ball, really. From the pink to the purple 5. That's what he's looking at now to see if it goes by the 8. Good thing for David trying to draw that position on the purple 5 in the left middle when he shoots the pink here in a moment. There's not really a worry of getting snookered. You know, that right side of the table is pretty open. So even if you don't get in position to pocket the purple 5, you can play some type of safety, which we know David, one of the best at.
Extension, cool.
Tough. Safety super tricky. The 5 doesn't pass the 8. Does go in the upper left. Tough shot though. Is he gonna follow through? Oh, he's hitting a low ball, and oof, I don't know. Yeah, I would follow through and put him on the 6-8 here, I think. Trying to bang it around, and that's a little advanced there, David. Great shot.
Ball in hand from here for Alcaide. Will almost certainly be end of contest. He's not going to have it. But where is this going to finish?
I think it may as well be ball in hand. I think the purple does squeeze by the green 6, and he can go forward, maybe bump the 8 to open up, make things a little easier. I could just hold there.
Yeah, that was always the issue, wasn't it? Wasn't a hard hit for Van Boening. I wasn't able to get it safe. And really now, Alcaide should claim his place in tonight's final. Made some mistakes early on. Still managed to carve out a 5-1 lead. Later had a 5-rack advantage at 8-3. That became 9-4 and subsequently 10-5. Van Boening hadn't won back-to-back racks at any stage of the match. And when he did, he got back to 10-7. There was a chance for him in this rack. But for the second year in a row, it's going to be disappointment on the last day of the European Open for Shane Van Boening. We'll see him again, looking for his record 6th US Open next month. But David Alcaide will be back here tonight. A smile, a wink, and a warm handshake from the defeated former world champion. David looked as though he might. And a moment to savour for David Alcaide. He really has struggled over the last year by his